On today's episode of Time About the Movies, it's the return of the King, the Lion King, if you will, but this time in 3D. We'll take a quick look at the re-release of the Lion King in 3D, and we also have three big new releases, including Ryan Gosling starring in Drive. We also have the remake of Straw Dogs with James Marsden, Elizabeth, Kate Bosworth, and also Alexander Skarsgård. And we have I Don't Know How She Does It, with Sarah Jessica Parker leading an ensemble cast in a comedy I guess was apparently worthy enough to be in theaters, but according to the Weinstein Company. But we'll take a look at those movies coming up next here on Time About the Movies for September 16th, 2011.
Hakuna Matata. It means no worries. Slimy yet satisfying.
Ew.
It is time. Disney's The Lion King.
The King has indeed returned. Welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the four films of September 16, 2011. And it's funny enough that the biggest new release of the entire weekend is a re-release of a classic movie, which is, of course, The Lion King, which we've talked about in great length on this show. We talked about it when it was released in theaters in 1994, when it was re-released in IMAX in 2002, and in 2011 it's been re-released for the first time in 3D, which on paper, you wouldn't expect a movie like this to be worth it seeing it in 3D, but, I mean, even if you didn't want to see it in 3D, it was still worth it to see it on the big screen for the first time ever, which, that was my first time seeing The Lion King on the big screen before. I mean, I've seen it on video and DVD and TV many, many times in the past, and nobody really was expecting this one to be the unexpected success that it was. And like I said last time around, it was supposed to be a 2-week release originally, but because the Blu-ray was coming out not but a couple weeks later on October 4th, I think it was when it came out. But you know, this was not meant to be a big re-release in general, essentially to keep it in there for long. Disney knew that, hey, it's gonna come out on Blu-ray in a couple weeks. There's no point of making theaters wanted to put this out there for more than 2 weeks. So fuck it, just put it in there for 2 weeks. And when the film unexpectedly made over $30 million in its first weekend, I mean, this to put it in context for you, this made The Lion King the first re-release to earn the #1 slot of the box office since the re-release of Return of the Jedi in 1997. That's a 14-year gap between the Return of the Jedi's release in theaters at the #1 spot and The Lion King, and it basically made Disney realize that, hey, we got a new cash cow here to work with here, because not only did they extend this movie to an extra after the 2 weeks that it had, the thing went on to make over $94 additional million for the movie in general domestically. I mean, it made over $176 million worldwide, extra money that it didn't have before, and yet people were more than willing to go out there and see it again on the biggest screen possible. And it essentially led Disney to open the floodgates and put out more of these 3D re-releases of some of their classic movies, not just with movies like Beauty and the Beast, Finding Nemo, Monsters Incorporated. You know, all three of those came within 2012. That is 2012 because of how successful this was. However, when you put out that many re-releases in the span of 1 year, not even 6 months after not even 4 months after The Lion King did it, naturally the novelty is going to wear out pretty quickly. And Beauty and the Beast, Finding Nemo, and Monsters Incorporated never really had that same kind of box office momentum that Lion King did. But they didn't do bad business overall, but they weren't the big successes that The Lion King was. In fact, The Little Mermaid was supposed to get a 3D re-release in theaters, but because those other 3 releases didn't do as hot, they basically pushed The Little Mermaid 3D version straight to the Blu-ray release that was coming out. It was basically kind of a precursor to these eventually coming out on Blu-ray, so you can get them on Blu-ray and DVD if you didn't get them the first time around. And essentially, with Finding Nemo and Monsters Incorporated, it opened the door and made people come to the realization that, we want to see more of these characters again. Unless Pixar greenlit the sequels to Finding Nemo and Monsters Incorporated not too long after their releases. In fact, actually, Monsters Incorporated's sequel was already well in development when they re-released that movie in theaters, and I think it was December 2012. But yeah, not much more to really add to The Lion King itself. I mean, I've talked in great length about it already. It's a great movie, one of the great Disney animated classics. What more can you say about it? I mean, but this was a notable release for what it did for Disney and 3D re-releases. It brought that back for a little bit, and even other studios were starting to take notice. The Wizard of Oz was released in 3D for a little bit at Warner Brothers. Jurassic Park was re-released in theaters by Universal, hoping to get the buzz up as they were working on the next Jurassic Park movie. So this did start a little bit of a brief trend, but after about 2 years, that kind of faded out. But it was cool seeing these classic movies on the big screen again. It's always going to be great to see classic movies on the big screen again. I mean, they're still doing it now. Hell, Universal's doing it now with a lot of their movies. We got the Jaws re-release coming out again as I'm recording this on Friday. And then later in October, we've got Casper coming. Hopefully we can get stuff like Back to the Future or The Land Before Time, because I feel like that's something that could be seen, that I would love to go back and see in 3D, in theaters again, on the big screen. Because I've seen Back to the Future a couple times on the big screen. I went to a Pittsburgh Culinary Trust show down at the Benedum Center. But like Land Before Time, I think would be cool to see on a big screen. Disney's doing it now with Toy Story coming back to theaters in a couple of weeks, and I think maybe Home Alone, is coming out in a couple months as well as The Night Before Christmas. But yeah, I would love to see more classic movies on the big screen. They don't have to necessarily be in 3D, but it'd be cool to see these classic movies on a big, wide screen if you can do so. So hopefully that trend's coming back in full swing. But not much more to say about this. The Lion King. What more can you say about it, man? So let's go ahead and get to the new releases this week. And the biggest of the new releases was easily the best of the 3, and that was Ryan Gosling in Drive.
What do you do?
I drive. Critics are raving. Drive is brilliant, powerful, a masterpiece. Rolling Stone gives Drive 4 stars. It's the coolest film of the year. Drive, rated R, now playing.
Unfortunately, that commercial I showed you there was nowhere near as exciting as the trailers were when this was coming out, and everybody got really excited just from those trailers alone, and it's kind of hard not to see why. This is a stylistic, visually impressive film, and it's a great movie overall. You have Ryan Gosling starring as an unnamed Hollywood stunt driver who moonlights as a getaway driver, and he quickly grows fond of his neighbor, played by Carey Mulligan, and her young son, Benicio. When her debt-ridden husband, played by Oscar Isaac, is released from prison, the two men take part in what turns out to be a failed $1 million heist that endangers the lives of everyone involved. The cast also includes Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, Ron Perlman, and Christina Hendricks in one of 2 movies she's in this weekend. But this one definitely is the far superior one. This is a really damn good movie. It's a great movie that showcases Ryan Gosling's rising leading star power, once again giving another dominant performance in here. The visual look of the movie is incredible. Cinematographer Newton Thomas Seeger, who's done a lot of Bryan Singer movies, commanding job on this. Cliff Martinez with a great score overall. The casting is great in this. The movie is just such a cool, slick film in the same vein as something like a Scarface for a new generation. I mean, it's a terrific movie. Albert Brooks, in particular, is amazing in this, and it's a damn shame that he did not get the Oscar consideration that he should have gotten for this, because he definitely deserved to win the Academy Award for this performance. I mean, he's the one thing that you come out of this movie going like, besides Ryan Gosling, he's the one that you come out of this going like, wow, Albert Brooks is pretty friggin' awesome, man. And yeah, he should have been nominated. He should have at least been nominated. Maybe winning is a little bit much. I'd have to go back and check to see who was actually nominated that year. But then again, I think that might have been the year Christopher Plummer won for Best Supporting Actor. So, yeah, I probably would have liked to see Albert Brooks win one and not Christopher Plummer, but I digress. This is a great movie. It's a really fantastic film. It still holds up after all these years. It did become a massive hit when it came out, and it sadly has been forgotten ever since then. Not a lot of people really talk about it all that much, but I mean, I think it's mostly because Ryan Gosling has done so much amazing work since then that we kind of forget that he was even in this movie back then. But still, regardless, it's a fantastic film, an amazing looking film, a stylistic, cool, sexy film. You know, reminds me a lot of stuff like movies like Collateral and Heat, and also Scarface. These really cool, slick movies of their time, and this one definitely fits in that category in general. This is a great movie. Can't recommend it enough. Drive, great film. Now, let's get back to the crap. Let's take a look at James Marsden, Kate Bosworth, and Alexander Skarsgård in the remake of Straw Dogs.
This past spring, the Sumners moved to Blackwater.
I was worried it'll be too quiet.
I like quiet. 3 months later. Can I give you a piece of friendly advice? Watch yourself. 6 people were brutally murdered.
What is that?
On September 16th. Discover.
I want you to see what's coming.
What really happened. Straw Dogs, rated R, in theaters September 16th.
Yeah, when you see Screen Gems' logo on a remake of a classic Sam Peckinpah movie starring Dustin Hoffman, yeah, abandon all hope, ye who enter here, because that Screen Gems is not the sign of a great company that knows exactly how to make a great remake of a classic movie. Screenwriter David Sumner and his wife Amy travel in his Jaguar to his hometown of Blackwater, Mississippi. Amy's father had died, and David intends to write his Stalingrad screenplay in the house. He hires contractor Charlie and his team to repair the barn roof. Amy used to be Charlie's sweetheart, and he and his crew show her no respect now. Charlie invites David to hunt deer with him and his crew, but they leave David alone in the woods and rape Amy, who doesn't tell David about it. While drunken coach Tom Heaton calls Charlie and his friends to hunt down slow Jeremy Niles, who likes his daughter, David decides to protect not only Jeremy, but also Amy and her honor. And that's really part of the problem with the movie in general. This is a movie that glorifies violence, and the big difference between the original Straw Dogs was that it was made by somebody who didn't care about selling it to mass marketing and actually wanted to tell an intriguing story. This is a movie that's clearly trying to appease a mass market and not doing the right things you need to do to sell the film. And sadly, this thing was dead on arrival. I mean, when Kate Bosworth literally said to make the rape scenes more lifelike, she actually told Skarsgård not to hold back, and actually, as he pretended to perform the violent sex assaults for cameras, like, that's your problem right there. We don't care how authentic the rape scenes are supposed to be like. Be a compelling story. Give us something new that we didn't see in the original film. And sadly, that's not in here. And you have a great cast in here, too. Not just the 3 I mentioned, but Dominic Purcell, James Woods, Will Holland, Laszlo Alonso, Walton Goggins, Anson Mount. And they're all just really just slugging along here. It's a failure of a film because it literally is one of those pointless remakes, because it literally adds nothing new to the original Sam Peckinpah movie that you could have just seen from the original Sam Peckinpah movie. The original one is still a classic film. This just feels like a regurgitated knockoff of it with much more sexier stars. And hey, because they're sexier, that means the rape scenes are going to look more sexier, which, no, that's not what you should be selling a movie on. I'm sorry, that's exactly how I feel about this film. This is a pointless remake and brings nothing new to the table, wastes all these good, talented people on a script that just feels so rotten and so ugly, and just feels like an insult to the original film in general. And it's just a bad film. Avoid this one like the plague, for the love of God. So yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie, Sarah Jessica Parker starring in I Don't Know How She Does It.
A recent study showed that women with young children don't sleep through the night. Researchers were at a loss to explain why. They could have asked me. Instead of sleeping, I do the list. Number 1.
Take Emily to school. I am just so jealous. You get to look nice all day. We just romp around at the park.
Number 2. Keep my head above water at work.
Sarah, you're running a little late this morning.
I have 2 choices here. The man's excuse, bad traffic, down power lines, faulty carburetor, or mammogram.
Oh!
Number 3, spend more time with Richard.
He must be completely exhausted.
Not completely. Number 4, the kids. Kindergarten bake sale, Christmas lights, birthday party. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how she does it. All those children.
I have 2.
So impressive.
You have 4.
Yeah, but 2 of mine are twins.
Excuse me for one second. Hey, Lauren, listen. You know, when you asked me about potentially taking over the late night spot later on down the road, whenever Jimmy Fallon takes over the Tonight Show, please tell me that's going to be sooner rather than later, because I've got a feeling that my film career is not going to last very long with movies like this. Help. That's probably what Seth Meyers was thinking to himself when he started movies like this and New Year's Eve, because, yeah, Seth Meyers kind of took the Jimmy Fallon approach when he was starting to build a film career, except Jimmy Fallon had at least one good movie to his roster in Fever Pitch, and he was good at Whip It, too, so. But this is literally a ABC television pilot blown up for the big screen. No, really, it's literally that. Sarah Jessica Parker is a working mother struggling to balance career and family life, and she's got an all-star cast around her with Pierce Brosnan, Greg Kinnear, Christina Hendricks, Kelsey Grammer, Seth Meyers, Olivia Munn, Busy Phillips. Like, this is literally a television pilot blown up for the big screen, and they do absolutely nothing to make this seem theatrical at all. There is no reason to release this on the big screen except the fact that you got all these big names in here. And it would help if there was something funny, if there was something intriguing about it, and no, there's none of that in this movie. This is another one of those movies that tries to be like these, you know, strong feminist comedies that show that, hey, ladies can be funny too, and, you know, real life can be funny too. Yeah, real life can be funny, and women can be funny if you have the right script and the right director to make it work here. I mean, they have a decent writer here, Aline Brosh McKenna, who wrote The Devil Wears Prada, but you also have Douglas McGrath, whose last movie that he did, I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, he directed Infamous, which was kind of an underrated film about Truman Capote starring Toby Jones. But, you know, this is a guy that has written some good stuff back in the day. I mean, he wrote for Saturday Night Live in the worst season ever in 1980-81, so that's probably not a good start. He wrote for L.A. Law. He's written stuff like Bullets Over Broadway, Emma, as I said, Infamous. So he's not a bad writer overall, but he feels way too out of touch to direct a film like this. I mean, this is a guy that's been working since the 1980s, and this is over 30 years after his time on Saturday Night Live. It's just like, a movie like this needs a younger, more fresher approach than what this film was trying to do here. And I think nothing about this film works at all. It's not funny. There's nothing about this that works whatsoever. This whole movie feels like if Carrie Bradshaw didn't have Sex in the City and she was just a bland woman living in New York City. I mean, she's got everything she needs. Like, she balances her career very well, and everyone is just like, oh my god, how do you do it? It's just like, that's literally the entire fucking movie. The whole movie is literally everyone around Sarah Jessica Parker going, I don't know how she does it, like the title says. Like, she does all this type of stuff. It seems like it's really, really hard for us stupid people to do, because we live in this world where stupid people don't know how to live normal lives, and blah, 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 blah. Just like, that's probably what you're thinking about this. You're probably asking me to wrap this up already, because I should have wrapped this up 2 minutes ago when I said it's literally a television pilot and a bad TV pilot blown up for the big screen. Like, I said, seriously. Tell me you could not see this as a show on CBS or ABC or NBC or hell, even Fox. Like, this is a show that would have fit so well onto a primetime television schedule back then. This isn't something that should have been seen on the big screen. This is a film that should have been chopped down to an hour, put on television, and then get canceled after 7 episodes. That's literally what this movie is. It's a waste of your time. I don't know how they did it, but I don't know how she does it. Really doesn't work. Plain and simple. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we've got 5 movies to look at, including Aaron Sorkin's follow-up to his Oscar-winning script for The Social Network. He wrote the script for Moneyball, which stars Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill among its cast. We have a star-studded cast in the family adventure Dolphin Tale. Taylor Lautner tries to break out of the Twilight game starring in an action thriller directed by John Singleton, in Abduction, which John Singleton can usually do no wrong, but yeah, this is one of those times where he went really, really wrong. We also have Gerard Butler starring in Killer Elite. I'm sorry, this isn't Gerard Butler. It's Jason Statham starring in Killer Elite. But Gerard Butler is in a movie this weekend called Machine Gun Preacher. This one, I think, is directed by the guy who did Quantum of Solace and Stranger Than Fiction, Mark Forster. I'd have to double check on that, but we got 5 films to take a look at next time around, and we will do that tomorrow on the show. So definitely be on the lookout for that. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me the honor of going to the like button, hitting that, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.